After getting swept by the Raptors, the Eastern Empire knew they had some unfinished business to get done.
In the Empire and Cyclone series, I personally think I performed really well. I threw a no-hitter and I had 3 home runs. I hit the longest home run of the season, so I was definitely feeling it at the plate and the mound that series.
Holy crap! That was great!
And as a team, we also did well. We had Zayden Jones filling in for Aiden, and we all clicked together. We all had a couple home runs.
In game 1, we ended up winning 10-6. It was a pretty close game until the very end. I had 2 home runs, so I was definitely feeling it at the plate.
Next. Rush by Jack Doherty.
I walked a lot of people, but I kept it calm at the end of the game and got the win.
When we started the Cyclone series, I knew I wasn't going to be able to be there. So I'm just happy that the Empire was able to get the win without me, and we were able to build off the Raptor series.
Zayden Jones made his debut and he played great. You know, he had a couple home runs, and Sammy was amazing on the mound. He had a no-hitter, and then the rest of the team they were all clicking at the plate, so it was really hard to get outs and get off the field.
Coming off the Raptors sweep, I think we were a little more prepared since we knew that every game wasn't going to be super easy for us. Like what happened in the Raptors game, we thought we were just going to walk through them. But I think we knew that every game was going to be a challenge, and we came ready to play.
In game 2, Sammy threw a no-hitter. It was 3-0 us. We were just really clicking. Sammy had 2 bombs and Zayden had a bomb, so Zayden filling in was a great fill-in for Aiden. He really stepped up and helped us get the win against the Cyclones, and I definitely think that we changed a lot from the Raptor series, being more confident and just changing our momentum going into the playoffs. So game 3 was close. The Cyclones were actually winning 4-1 until the very end when Sammy had a walk-off grand slam, which I was so excited about because we just swept a Cyclones team who just beat the Raptors in that series. So I was really happy that we ended off the season on a sweep, and going into the playoffs, I was just so excited.
Hello and welcome to the first ever playoff series of DWL. Today we have the Eastern Empire and the Central Cyclones.
In game 1 of the playoffs, you're facing the Cyclones, and I think that we knew that we could easily walk through that series, winning 2 games. But it was a little too close for comfort. They were winning going into the 3rd inning, and we ended up winning 3-2. We still had a no-hitter that game. All the runs that they scored were from walks.
In one of the playoffs, we were down 2-0. Sammy and Jack ended up tying it up. I was really excited because I thought before we didn't have a chance to win it, but now we are in the lead.
So in the playoffs, the nerves started to build up. I was walking a lot of batters in like the first few innings. I was nervous. I was really nervous because I wanted to just pitch everything as a strike, and it wasn't working for me most of the time, but I ended up getting out of the innings, and the Cyclones were up 2-0 in the start. But then I hit a home run to tie up the game, which really kept me calm.
That was one game.
And Jack Doherty ties the game!
I don't really think the atmosphere was different. You know, Sammy hitting that walk-off definitely gave the Empire momentum, which definitely carried into game 2. So I think that if we had better pitching, that we definitely could have stuck with them, but you know, that didn't happen. So.
And then in the bottom of the 3rd, Sammy hit a single to walk it off, and we ended up winning game 1, which felt so good.
What a rip by Sammy Holt. Jack's going home! And the Empire win! Game 1!
After winning that game, we knew that we had to win game 2, because if we didn't win game 2, it would have to go to a game 3, and they would have a bigger chance of winning.
So, playoff atmosphere is a lot different than regular season atmosphere. Players don't really talk to each other. Teammates barely talk to each other. It's just everybody just kind of taking it all in, just wanting to move on. So that is how the atmosphere was in game 1. No one was really talking. It was really just me calling out the plays. And in game 1, the Cyclones took a 2-0 lead off of some walks by Jack Doherty. And then the bottom of the second, Jack came through, he hit a 2-run bomb. And just like that, the game was tied. And that definitely carried the tension more. That brought the Empire back in it. And from there, they just exploded. Sammy got a walk-off in game 1. Then in game 2, they got 17 runs and won the game by 15.
I knew we had to build off of game 1 because if we left the Cyclones around, I knew that they could definitely win the series against us. They weren't a bad team, but we just were playing really well. And then in game 2, we kept the same focus and we ended up winning by a lot.
Dude, come on, Owen. Just end this inning already. And is the... Oh!
Going into game 2, I think that we knew that we could easily walk through them at this point. We ended up winning 17-2, and we threw another no-hitter against them, and there wasn't really any competition in that series.
In game 2, we really stepped up. We really beat them by a lot. It was like 17-2. We got a ton of runs. We were scoring a lot, and our pitching was on point.
So we were definitely going into the World Series with high momentum, and we were very confident.
Hello and welcome to the first ever DWL World Series. Alongside James McKay, I'm Anderson Dolan. Today is the start of a 5-game series between the Eastern Empire and the Southern Storm.